So can you take a leaf pattern, like your leaf that's sitting there at 10 o'clock and build that leaf coloration?
Yes. Now I did most of that already here on the paper. Okay.
Right, right. But just start fresh on a clean piece of paper and go from the leaf to the color in the veins to the multi, green, yellow, reds that you have there, or whatever type of color.
Sure. We can certainly do that. So this basically uses just yellow, red, and black. And I think I did this piece with chestnut spirit stain rather than these paints that I've got here. But I can use these paints. They'll work just fine. So I'm going to do this quick and dirty. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm let me back this off a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. What I'm doing is I'm taping this. I'm going to try and tape this way. Tape this down flat so it stays flat. Okay. All right. So to do this, I am going to start with some of these leaves. Let me find them here, maybe. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with a hole. At least that's how I think about it. Okay. Now, if I was doing this on a plate, I would use Frisket film. And this is basically a Frisket film blank, a leftover from a Frisket film blank. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to get it flat. Oops, not doing a very good job there. Now, usually, if I was doing this on a plate, okay, if I was doing this on the plate and it was the only leaf on here, the whole rest of the plate would be covered with the paper. Okay, make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to use
You should take a magic
that's
marker and draw the rim of your bowl. I'm just kidding.
I could do that.
Well, maybe for some others it would be more intuitive if you did make it IOCO for them.
How's that? Can't really
It
see
needs
it.
to be darker. Needs to be darker.
Yeah, I don't have a. The hell are my thick sharpies? I've got a silver sharp. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can do it with. Maybe this will work. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So there's, you know, a big leaf on a small bowl. Okay. So there's maybe a target. All right. I like working from examples because it's helpful. All right. So I have two sort of specialty veins that I cut. Okay. So I've got just the veins, and this is out of Mylar.
Okay.
Okay. And I've got the hole that the veins came out of. Okay. And I use them both. So for instance, I'm gonna first coat this with a very light coat of green. Okay. because there's some green in the leaf. So, and then I'm going to hit it with yellow on the yellow parts. Okay. Now, this will be yellow, this will be yellow, and so on. But, and then I'm going to come back and do red. So I don't want to, and I may hit this with more green to get the green here. Okay. But in order to do that, if the yellow's already down, I've got to use this one so that the yellow stays down. Make sense? And on this one, if I want to put red veins in on top of the yellow, I'm going to have to come back with this one to get the red veins. Make sense?
Yes.
So it's a multi-step process. So so my first step with these leaves is always green. Okay. So yeah, gotta have air. So I'm high up and this is a really, really light coat of green. All right. Very, very light. And because green is dark, I want it out. So I'm cleaning. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to go from lighter to darker. So as soon as I get enough of the, as much of the green out as I can get out, I'm going to go yellow. So that's next. Now, the yellow's more pronounced. So I'm going to put a fairly decent coat of yellow on here. Now it looks kind of yellow-green. Surprise, because we've already got green down there. So I'm going to put more yellow on here to get it much more yellow. Okay. Where's my water? So one of the banes of my existence with this is the paint is kind of congealing awful fast in here. So I'm working hard to not clog up my airbrush while I'm doing this.
Oh, okay. Well, we appreciate it, Matt.
So because if I have to disassemble this and do it while I'm doing this, it's going to take up a lot of extra time. So okay.
Less talking, more spraying.
Yeah, right.
I'm just teasing.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do next is the red. All right, now. All right. So I want some of these veins to be red. So what I'm going to try and do is line up these veins here. Let's use that one and get some red veins in here. Now I'm lining them up with the stencil. and I'm lining it up. If you look at this maple leaf, okay, the maple leaf, the veins run right from this point. They radiate out from this point. And then there's other ones. So you got to line it up from here to here or from here to here, however you're going to do it. So I'm going to line this up from here to here, and I'm going to put in a red vein there. Okay. Now this one, I want to keep some of the yellow. So I'm going to switch to this other one here and spray around it so that I keep the yellow. And I'm going to spray like this. And that gives me a little bit of a yellow with red and yellow with a red vein through it. Now there's more red here on the edges. So I'm going to add a little bit here and there. And then I'm going to need another vein here. So let's just do the red here also. So let me put that one in like that, line it up, and spray the red around it like that. Okay? So that is my result from building that leaf that way. So let me get the water in here so the airbrush doesn't clog up, and then we'll peel it back and take a look. Okay.
Okay.
So, and this Mylar is also purchasable from Amazon, and it's very, very useful. So, I've used these few leaf stencils and the vein stencils hundreds of times. Okay. Well, maybe not hundreds, but a lot. All right. So, and that's how I build the leaf. Okay. So when it's a little foggy around the edges because the stencil was coming up because it wasn't Frisket filmed down. But that's how I build the leaves.